Hello, this is Ariana Lang, and I will be talking about having high schools teach taxes and insurance. I believe that all high schools should have mandatory courses to teach taxes and insurance so their students better prepare high schoolers for the real world. And some of my reasons are that everyone uses taxes and insurance. It would decrease education, it would decrease mistakes, it would save money for individuals, and it would better prepare high schoolers for adulthood in general. Some context is that according to the IRS website, they found that unfortunately most U.S. taxpayers do not know or are unsure of basic tax concepts. And in a large survey, it was found that only about 30% of K-12 teachers have taught financial education topics. So far, it's not common, even though some states require it, it's not commonly required to have finance classes in public education. Additionally, there have been a lot of extra costs associated with taxes and insurance. For example, in a survey for insurance, they found that Americans are increasingly struggling to get their health insurance to work for them. High deductibles and copayments are causing nearly 2 of 5 working-age adults to delay visiting the doctor and filling prescriptions. So not only are they losing money, they're losing health. For my first reason, everyone uses taxes and insurance. It's well known that nearly everyone in the United States has to file a tax return. Specifically, if you have a decent amount of income. It's also known that with insurance, virtually all states require drivers to have auto liability insurance before they can legally drive a motor vehicle. Depending on the state, most states usually also have a health insurance requirements or life insurance or other insurance requirements. And in school, there are other subjects. While taxes and insurance are used by everyone, they're not as commonly used as math and reading, especially more when they go more in depth in high school. And while math subjects like math and reading are important foundational skills, financial classes can help teach students how they can apply those skills. Next, having mandated classes for taxes and insurance can decrease mistakes. For example, with taxes, it was mentioned on the website that we all make mistakes, but mistakes on our tax return can potentially be costly. According to the IRS, the error rate for paper returns is 21%, compared with less than 1% among e-filed returns, and it was therefore recommended for individuals to file electronically. Also, with insurance, 45% of insured working-age adults reported receiving a medical bill or being charged a co-payment in the past year for a service they thought should have been free or covered by their insurance. And with taxes, mistakes on e-filed returns are rare. They're less than 1%. So it shouldn't be that big of a problem. However, with tax returns, many people make the mistake of not using all the deductions that they possibly could, and so they lose that money that they could have potentially gained. And with insurance, with how many people receive medical bills that they thought should have been, with having insurance education, people could better understand their insurance, and it'll be a lot less likely for them to get services or products that their insurance doesn't cover and they can avoid having to spend more. Next is having that financial education can save money. With taxes, according to the Office of Financial Readiness, one of the most common mistakes in tax returns is not claiming all of your credits and debits. Like I said earlier, a lot of people will, if they don't know about it, they'll miss out on the credits and deductions so that they can get more money back. And with insurance, over half of those who did not challenge the bills were not sure that they had the right to do so. In a survey, it was found that most people didn't know that they could challenge their medical bills and potentially save money. And when it comes to taxes, some people hire others to do their taxes for them. And if we taught taxes in public education, then individuals could save money and not have to worry about hiring others to do their taxes. Next is having that education for taxes and insurance could help prepare high schoolers for adulthood. As all of us know, having the process of becoming a teenager to an adult can be very exciting but also confusing time. Moving out and becoming an adult can be a rough process. To make the transition more smooth, high school can teach these complicated subjects of taxes and insurance. That way we don't have to worry as much about those, and we can focus more on other things. And next is also having classes would better ensure the safety of the economy along with the individual. From Champlain College, in an article by Champlain College, it was stated that an uneducated individual armed with a credit card, a student loan, and access to a mortgage can be nearly as dangerous to themselves as their community as a person with no training behind the wheel of a car. And this is one of my biggest arguments for having a tax and insurance education, is that it would not only be helpful for the individual and prepare high schoolers for adulthood, but it would also be better for the community in general to have that financial knowledge and encourage financial stability. And lastly, I've found some solutions that some articles have suggested. So these are from big survey articles that have very in-depth studies. And in one of them, they did a study on how financial literacy would be related to financial education. And it was found that in summary, they argued the dividing force between becoming financially literate resides in the ability to understand numbers and having an emotional attitude towards numbers that does not interfere with an individual's daily engagement activities involving mathematics and financial decisions. So basically, someone is more financially literate if they have a better understanding of numbers, if they're more confident in numbers, and they don't have a anxiety around math. And next is, in another big survey, it was found that financial education may affect financial satisfaction, a subjective measure of financial well-being through financial literacy, financial behavior, and financial capability varies. So basically, to summarize this, it means that financial education does have effective financial satisfaction, so not meaning that teaching taxes and insurance can not only help someone survive in the economy, but very much thrive. And in Champlain College, it was also said that students who received formal education by trained teachers reported some improvements in most personal finance behaviors and measured, meaning that those who got a financial education did a lot better in their finances. And these are my works cited. Thank you for listening.